I'm Gregor Thompson. I'm a philosopher and a writer, and I know what the meaning of life is. Welcome to The Struggle. This episode is brought to you by The Struggle newsletter. This is a weekly email newsletter in which I send out every Sunday for free a short article concerning the art of embracing struggle. If you're struggling to be more productive, to be healthy, to achieve your dreams, perhaps you're chasing the wrong thing. A lot of us believe that we should be aiming for happiness, but this is an unwise pursuit, as happiness comes and goes without any control from us. However, there is a way to be more fulfilled with life, and that is to embrace productive struggles, to exercise, to eat healthy, to have uncomfortable conversations, to take career risks, to discover who you are, and to be autonomous. That's why I created a newsletter. Along with the article, I also provide tips, strategies, and recommendations such as movies, music, podcasts, and recipes to help along the way. To sign up completely for free, go to gregorthompson.com, the link will be in the show notes, confirm your subscription, and make sure you check your spam folder for your welcome newsletter, and add me to your contacts to continue to receive it in your inbox for free. And that's it. You're on your way to struggling more and being more productive, healthy, and motivated. Now, let's get on with the struggle. This is episode 32 of The Struggle with me, Gregor Thompson, and this week I'm going to discuss the comments I've had from the previous 31 episodes, both the positive and the negative. There's a quote from the third season of the extremely popular TV show The Bear that I jotted down as soon as I heard it. You have no idea what you're doing, and therefore you're invincible. We exert so much effort to become more, to know more, and to look as if we know more and are more than we appear, to such an extent that we forget the power of ignorance. Those who are sure of everything are idiots, and certainly those who spout hatred in the hope of seeming more informed are the creme de la creme of idiots. I've recently experienced the somewhat negative effect of producing content online, which I always knew was coming, but unfortunately, I never prepared for it. The issue with content creation, at least for me at the moment, is the evidence of people enjoying my content is mostly views, likes, and subscribers, and rarely comments, whereas the evidence that people do not like my content is comments, some more painful than others. I always told myself I would never look at the comments because no good can come from it. However, just as a heroin addict painfully injects what they know is killing them, I always read every comment knowing it can only lead to heartache, doubts, and pain. The significant problem with never looking at comments is you miss the occasional positive comment, such as, "Your vlog is so interesting and inspiring. That was very useful. Stick at it, it will be worth the struggle." And, "I'm having an awful time at the moment, and I have to say the podcast helps. Keep pushing, man, you're doing amazing." And two more just came in this week. One reading, "Ratid," I've definitely pronounced that wrong. That's a mild Jamaican expletive, kind of like an American saying, "hot damn." I find this little reflection refreshing to this degree. As free of religious dogma as it is of self-help pablum, it is bracing and actionable. YouTube's algorithm placed this clip in my feed, and I'm glad I opted to view it, liked it, I'm commenting, and subscribed. I hope you keep posting GT and soon garner the following you deserve. And the other was, "Thank you. Some of those lines were real meaningful to me, coming from a guy on the side of the road watching others live." Just reading these words again in preparation for this podcast brought a tear to my eye, knowing I've made a positive difference to at least some people. These changes to people's lives are worth all of the views and subscribers. It's the reason I'm posting every week, but the negative comments cut deeper. Some I find genuinely hilarious, like, "Can you tell a story about getting braces then?" Which I'm assuming is referencing the gap in between my teeth. And, "Don't trust anyone with a nose ring." Now, to some, this would be understandably hurtful, but it's comments that regard my looks that I have no issue with, for a few reasons. One, these comments were comedically written, and I genuinely found them funny. Two, I have little self-esteem issues with regards to how I look, especially my teeth and my nose ring, both of which I happen to like. 3, If they're focusing on my looks, they're not paying attention to the ideas or the content of what I'm saying, which says more about them than it does about me. And 4, whenever anyone goes to such an effort to attempt to bring others down, they are doing so to bring everyone else down to their level of despair and hurt. If someone is trying to divert attention to someone else, they're doing so to divert attention away from themselves, meaning they're probably self-conscious about something, about their own looks, for example, with these comments. So I genuinely view these people with empathy, because hurt people hurt people. These comments failed to make an impact, and I genuinely feel empathy for those who feel the need to nitpick when other people are trying hard to be better and trying to help others be better. What cuts deeper than comments regarding my looks, however, are comments sniping at the ideas or my presentation. On more than one occasion, I've had comments similar to, "Really uncomfortable to watch. Please stop." The irony being that that was really uncomfortable for me to read. But what I continually remind myself of is that it's better to have some people find what I'm doing really meaningful and some people to really hate it than to have everyone feel indifferent about it. These sorts of comments put me in mind of something Rickey Gervais said during one of his stand-up shows regarding his Twitter or X account. They could be following me without knowing, choose to read my tweet, and then take that personally. That's like going into a town square, seeing a big notice board and there's a notice with guitar lessons. And you go, "But I don't fucking want guitar lessons." I have to remind myself that everyone, no matter how egregious their crime, believes that what they're doing is right. But I also have to remind myself that hurt people hurt people. Now, I'm under no illusions that many people will not like my content and may even hate it. But all I ask of these people is you either post something constructive that I can actually work with, or you keep walking. It's not for you, and that's fine. You don't have to like it, and you certainly don't have to verbalize every time you don't like something. It's not worth your energy. I never write bad reviews or negative comments. If I don't enjoy something, I move on. It's not for me. If I do enjoy something, I might write a positive review. There are downsides to this, of course, but perhaps it allows bad service or bad ideas to spread, but it doesn't ruin someone's day. If I receive poor service at a restaurant, I remind myself that the server is a human being with their own thoughts and experiences, and that I have no idea what's going on in their life. It's the same with negative comments. Now, I happened to be having a fairly bad day when I read that comment. That was actually the first thing I read that day. Some stranger telling me to stop doing what I enjoy. People online, hopefully, fail to acknowledge that there is another human being on the other side of the screen. Now, I say hopefully, because if they do know there's another human being on the other side reading those painful words, then it means they're actively hurting someone, which is worse. But luckily, the impact I'm making is positive, at least to some people, and the positive comments and the 203 people backing me up as I record this, who have chosen to listen to more of what I say, not less, are proof of that. So, yes, words hurt. But as I continually remind myself, and as my partner reminded me that day when I read that comment, when I was doubting what I was doing, most people would stop now. I'm not stopping. Mark my words. Every day I wake up and I either see a few more subscribers or more likes and views, or I see a negative comment or less subscribers. But with either of those scenarios, when I see them, I know I'm creating content in the way I want to, because I don't want everyone to like it. Otherwise, it would be boring. Mark Manson said something similar to this when he said, for you to be attractive or for your ideas to be attractive, it has to be unattractive to some people. In order for something to be incredibly meaningful to some people, it has to be incredibly unmeaningful to other people. And as Andy Warhol said, don't pay attention to what they write about you. Just measure it in inches. So I hope my content makes a positive impact, and I can see that it has for at least a small number of people. But if it doesn't for you, all I ask is that you spend your energy doing something productive, not something hurtful. If you're going to comment something, make it constructive and actionable for me, because at least then I can make the podcast better and make the viewing experience better for viewers. But don't post something hurtful that's not going to help, it's just going to make me feel worse. Your time is worth far more than that. I'm guessing these negative comments make you feel better. I hope they make you feel better, because that's the only positive thing coming out of them. I'm going to guess that it actually doesn't. It's actually doing you a disservice as much as you might think you're doing something right. But you need to remind yourself, the answer lies in the struggle. It's easy to comment. It's harder to look inwardly at what you're doing wrong and rectifying that. So remember, the answer lies in the struggle. So keep on struggling. Just a few more things before you take off. Firstly, thank you for watching. It genuinely means a lot to see people viewing and liking the content. Second, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe. It's the best way you can support the podcast. As you can probably tell, I don't have a lot of fancy equipment and I don't have a team behind me helping with recording and editing the podcast. So any support from you is greatly appreciated and it will help the podcast grow. You can also stay up to date with everything I'm doing on social media. All of the links will be in the show notes. And you can listen to the Struggle podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And lastly, keep on struggling.